Hi there everyone, this is Madhul with Honest Labs and I work with business leaders and development teams to help them build, adopt and implement AI systems that are secure by design and production ready. So today we're going to be looking at quite an interesting topic of vibe coding, why it's here to stay, what Gartner has to say about it, and more importantly, how can you adopt vibe coding without stifling innovation. So lots to cover and we'll have a demonstration at the end as well. So briefly, what is vibe coding? So vibe coding is a way of creating software. This is when your developers interact with some kind of AI chatbot or LLM model or an AI assistant within the IDE environment, whichever way they might choose to interact with AI, essentially delegating AI to write the software. Now, this could be a subset of a piece of code that they're working on, or it could be a whole different project, right? So the possibilities are endless. But most importantly, this is where the role of the developer changes from the doer to the orchestrator, right? And Gartner essentially have gone ahead and highlighted that this is not a trend that's going to go away. In fact, larger organizations like Meta and Microsoft, they're already talking about 50 to 60% of their development being done by AI assistants, right? So I won't go into the report in detail, but they talk about what the opportunity here is, and so why organizations should look at it seriously, but then also some of the guardrails that should be put in place to make sure that this is adopted in a secure fashion. Right. Okay. So in the interest of time, let's actually go ahead and look at it in a real scenario. So what I'm going to do is we're going to go into an environment where I'm going to demonstrate the concept of vibe coding as a working example, but then I will also show you how you can make certain tweaks within your workflow to ensure that security is not an afterthought, right? So you're incorporating security by design into the process without actually taking away the capability from developers, right? So you don't have to just say no vibe coding. You can actually incorporate security as part of that. So let's take a look. Now, what you've got in front of you here is I've got a terminal across into a Ubuntu machine. Incidentally, this is actually running on my mobile device, which is my phone itself. Just want to take it a step further. But so basically what I've got running here is, if you're familiar with Claude Code, so Claude Code is Anthropic's coding assistant. Now this actually lives within the terminal. So Anthropic actually predicts that the traditional way of writing code within the IDE environments will actually become redundant in the future. And developers, because they're now orchestrating and communicating with these agents through natural language, will essentially be talking to these agents via a terminal. And that's what we're going to demonstrate today. So let's take a look. What I'm going to do here is I'm going to actually bring up Claude and get it going. And so we'll wait for it to come up. So now we've got Claude running, and again, we've got the power at our disposal here. And in this instance, what we're going to look at is we're going to instruct Claude to do something quite basic, but still prove the concept, right? So I'm going to give a natural prompt. Now I can speak it out, but in the interest of saving me some typing issues or having microphone kind of interaction come into play here, I've just typed it out here as a snippet. And so if I run it, you'll actually see the prompt here. Again, like I said, most developers would actually use a microphone and actually speak this out. So what I'm asking Claude to do is basically develop a calculator function for me with capabilities like add, subtract, divide, and multiplication, and pretty standard stuff. But then I'm also asking Claude to basically write a script that would allow me interactive. So this would take basically input from the user and test it, right? So things that your developers would be doing on a day-to-day basis. So let's go ahead and instruct Claude to go ahead and do that. And so Claude's now kicking into action and basically planning what it needs to do. And so this is, if you're not familiar, if you haven't seen this process before, it's quite interesting to actually watch, and you can see it think through like a junior developer would. And then I'm going to go ahead and give it permissions to execute. Now, one of the things that you saw just happen is Claude's actually asking me to interact and give it permission to go basically approve the change, right? So this is called human in the loop. So essentially approving everything that the agent is doing. Now, this is quite important. There was another option, as you can see, number 2, where I'm saying, hey, this particular action happens quite frequently and go ahead and do it yourself every time. Now, obviously you can do that, but do that with caution. So I personally like to have a little bit of control in terms of what Claude is doing. So I'm going to try and manually approve each process. So the first part was it had actually written the code to implement the calculator function. Now it's run the script. So we're going to go ahead and approve that as well. Now, important concept here is whilst Claude is doing this, what I want to highlight here is because the role of the developer is changing from the person writing the code to actually orchestrating it, AI is actually writing the code. And the reason this is important is AI works, basically we don't know where this code's come from, right? So the patterns it's using it's based on training. It could also be references from public repositories. Now there are known incidents of public repositories being implanted maliciously, so with malicious code. And what that means is if Claude's gone and looked at those repositories and it's found a pattern that it'd like to use, it's gone ahead and used it. Now suddenly that vulnerability becomes part of your code without your knowledge, right? This is the security risk that we need to be aware of. Right, in this instance, I will show you how we can actually help mitigate that quite easily without disrupting the whole process. So Claude's actually gone ahead and done that. Now, because I want to interact with this test manually, what I'm going to do is come out of Claude and let's look at the two files that actually, let me clear out the screen. Let's look at the two files. So as you can see on the screen, Claude's created these two files, the calculator and the test. And so what I'm going to do now is initiate my test, and I'll also save that as a snippet. And so now we're in our calculator testing functionality, right? So it's asking what kind of operator I would like to run. So let's say we wanted to do an addition, and I would like to add 5. The second number is also 5, and the response is 10. So it's working quite nicely. Let's try another one. Subtract this time, and let's subtract from 10, and we'll take away 5, and the answer is 5. So it's working quite nicely, right? So all things good, right? So as you can see, this is a very basic function, but if it was a complex function, it could save your team quite a bit of effort, right? But now let's look at, and I'm going to quit out of this now because we've tested the function. All right, so what I'm going to do now is, because we've implemented this function, in order to make sure that we're doing everything right, I'm going to bring up Claude again, but in this instance, I have enabled Claude to basically be able to perform some security tests, right? I've given it the instructions that it needs to. Bear with me, it looks like we're having, oh, there we are. All right, so what I'm going to do is I've got a natural prompt here in plain English that is basically telling Claude how it can run certain tests. Actually, that's not the one. Here we are. So what I've told Claude here, if you can read, is essentially go ahead and perform different kinds of scanning here. So we're looking at code quality issues. We're looking at vulnerabilities. We're looking for sensitive data and secrets. We're also looking for misconfigurations, right? So this part can take some time, but the point is now, as part of the process that you would follow for writing code, you're also engaging in the same way with this assistant and saying, hey, go ahead and actually test my code for issues, right? So I might take a brief pause here because it can take a few seconds, and I'll come back to show you what the results are. But important message here is Claude's actually initiating those tests, running them, and it will come back with a report of the findings for us. So bear with me. All right, so we're back. Now you can see that Claude's gone ahead and completed the test. So we've run some open source vulnerability scanning. We've run some SAS scanning. Now, SCA, I'm sticking with open source right now, but there is a capability with SemGrep as well to run a composition analysis, essentially break down the dependencies and look for issues in those as well. And then we've used Trivi, which is an open source scanner from Aquasec, to essentially run scanning like vulnerability scanning of our code. We're looking for secret and sensitive information. So this is things like API keys, tokens, passwords, and things like that. And then we're also looking for any kind of misconfigurations, right? Again, number one reason behind most breaches is misconfigurations, right? So Claude's gone and done that test and come back and said our code's clean. Now, very, very easily, we've incorporated that security as part of our vibe coding, which means you don't have to be scared about adopting this technology thinking it's not secure. Whilst it is in its infancy, it can be a great tool for prototyping, getting quick feedback from customers, and basically getting to the market fast, right? So it allows you to trial and error and fail and kind of go at it again, right? So definitely want to be using this tool. And what we're going to do now is our next step. So what I'm going to do here is clean this up, get Claude up again. And now, because we've done all the due diligence, so we've created code, we've basically scanned it for issues. Now I'm going to actually go ahead and ask it to push these changes into our GitHub repository, so it goes into the source control where it can be monitored for concerns, or obviously merged as part of our PR. So here's another prompt that I've written here, and that's basically what it's doing. It's going to stage all changes. So basically everything that we've changed is going to stage them. It's going to commit them with a message saying we've added a new feature. And then I'm going to say, go ahead and actually publish that to GitHub. And momentarily, I should also be able to show you that it's actually gone ahead. And so as you can see, Claude's quite good with following instructions. In fact, it is able to very quickly figure out what it needs to do, and away it goes. So it's asking me for my permission. Again, I think it's a very important step to kind of stay in control. And so there might be certain scenarios where you want to delegate certain kind of tasks to Claude for automation, but obviously do that with caution. And so that's the last step. And if I go back to my repository here, and momentarily you should see another commit come through. There we are. And so that we've just committed that 7 seconds ago, right? So that is such a fantastic thing, right? Now, one last thing before I let you go is the reason this is important is security just cannot be an afterthought, right? The reason I say that is we're in the second half of 2025, and there has been numerous documented attacks on real AI production systems, right? And so if we're not doing our due diligence, we're leaving the room, we're leaving the door open essentially for different adversaries to get in and attack our organization, right? So I have an article that actually talks about these real attack scenarios that I published recently, that I will leave a link below, that I think would be quite useful. But hopefully you found this session informative. And if you do have any questions, obviously feel free to engage through comments. If you do want to reach out to have a further discussion, I'd be more than happy to. Thank you again for your time, and speak soon. Take care. Bye now.